The British fighters who have been going out to the Islamic State, who we've been monitoring now for many years, are really wanting to be at the forefront of this conflict. They're not backseat drivers in any sense. So we've seen that for quite a while now. At the end of last year, there was a British fighter in Syria who was a suicide bomber. Earlier this year, there were British fighters who were involved in the execution of regime soldiers, Syrian regime soldiers. So the fact that there's a British man involved or implicated in this video with the execution of James Foley isn't that much of a shock, given what we've seen British fighters doing in Syria for some time now. I think what's making this video so dramatic is the way it's been framed as a direct challenge to the United States, and that this is coming from a British fighter who is essentially challenging the President of the United States to change the course of his foreign policy in that region, and if he doesn't, daring him, almost goading him by presenting another hostage that they have, another American, and saying, we'll execute him if you don't change your ways. One of the things we've noticed on the hundreds of social media accounts that we monitor in the last 2 months in particular is that a lot of people have become a lot more brazen, a lot more open, a lot more cocky really about the violence that is being perpetrated out there, and there's a real degree of nonchalance about it, indifference, when they are involved in beheading individuals or just whipping and flogging individuals. All of this kind of stuff is something that they're clearly reveling in now, and they're mocking the people they do it to. It's indicative of the fact that they feel a real boost for the organization. They've declared a caliphate now. It has attracted global attention. They've made these huge sweeping gains in Iraq, and so I think they believe momentum is on their side. They believe that they're winning, essentially, and that is giving them a boost, it's giving them a morale boost, and it's making them a little bit more confident. These are guys who are hugely imbued with this sense of millenarian religious zeal, and they regard anyone who is an opponent to the Islamic State as being a legitimate target and an enemy, because what they're saying is you are an existential threat to the perfect kingdom of God on the earth, and therefore if you get in the way of that, we have to execute you. I think stopping the Islamic State now is an incredibly difficult task. It's not the first time a jihadist organization has held a huge amount of territory. We've seen it in Mali, we've seen it in the Horn of Africa, in the AfPak tribal areas. What's different is that in every one of those cases, there was a foreign-backed campaign with boots on the ground. The French went into Mali, the British and Americans were in Afghanistan and Pakistan, and of course it was done through the UN in the Horn of Africa. Now, in Syria and Iraq, there is no momentum, there is no public desire to put any boots on the ground. The Syrian and Iraqi armies are incapable of challenging the Islamic State. In fact, those are both failed states to all intents and purposes. And so when put like that, when considered like that, it seems inconceivable to me that there is any military power in the region right now that has the capability or the will to go and remove the Islamic State.